Okay, my friends, here it is. This Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6. We are coming at you early today for a good reason, though. Don't worry, I'll explain in a moment. But I got to make sure that this microphone is working because I got a new cable and I think I might see what the problem is. From all you guys that have told me that there's a clicking sound, I think I know what the problem is now. It might be the very connection from the Yeti microphone itself. Yes. So what am I saying, guys? Sunshine. Can you hear me? So, guys, we got all kinds of good stuff to talk about today. We're a little bit early. The sun is coming in. And let us see here. Let me get that sound check. What did I say? Okay, Taida, good to see you, my friend. Natalie Dumont, Lisa Brown, yes, Viking Shield Ama, Marcus Wade, Pam, of course, South Africa. Thank you. All right, guys. Look to Nature Homestead. Of course you are here. Yes. Sam Potzik, Brian Airy. Good to see you guys. So, what are you guys growing in the garden? What's going on where you're at? Because guess what? Where we are at, it is, let me just show you, okay, so that you know I'm not exaggerating. Since the last time we talked, since the first video I made about everything dying and lack of rain, look at the weather. Blazing sun, I mean, not blazing, the temperatures by most people, but I know you guys in Texas are laughing, but for us here, it's not so much that the heat in the temperature as it is just the dryness, the sun and the sun is in it's a really intense right now. The actual light of the sun is much more intense feeling than normal. And so it is just roasting everything. We still have not got one drop of rain since the very first time I started talking about redoing the garden and everything. So, guys, there's zero rain on the forecast, zero rain. It's been months since this garden's got a rain. I mean, there was like one or two little pit, trickles. But man, it is just not a year for growing, but that is why we're redoing everything. And so that next year, it's not going to matter. I'm not going to stress. Well, I don't stress, but I'm not going to be concerned about the rain. Oh no, we're not getting any rain. Well, that's not going to matter next year because, when you guys see, I think probably the next video that I do is going to be the garden bed design, the thought process, everything that goes into the garden bed design and why I'm choosing it this particular way. I think I talked about it a bit last time here, but a lot of people are like, well, you need to do waffle gardening or sunken bed gardening and stuff. That would be true if we were in the desert, if we were at a place where we knew it was not going to rain. It was just not going to rain, period. Or in Northern California, during the summertime, where it doesn't rain for 6 months. Okay. But here in Northern Indiana, we also have to prepare to have wet monsoon-like springs because we can also have that. So we need to have the maximum resilience in our bed. That's the most important thing. A bed that can take heavy rains day after day, but also a setup that could take no rain for months on end. Now, that doesn't mean no watering. Now, I want you guys to be very clear about that, though. That doesn't mean I'm never going to water the bed. I'm actually setting it up so that I can water it. And what I found to be the best when you get drip lines involved in the right bed setup, I found now there's a term for it. It's called pulse watering. But when I was doing it in Northern California, it was just the way that I found responded best for the plants. The plants responded best with 3 waterings a day of just like 15 to 20 minutes each time. They responded best like that. So no matter how hot it got, then plants were super thriving. Watering like that it was 120 degrees in our greenhouses, and pulse watering like that, boom, the leaves were just erect and praying. They were not all sagging down and stuff like that. So it's that's how we'll do here, right? But yes. Marcus Wade says, this weather has been absolutely perfect for the herbs I'm growing in Ohio. It is ideal for that, definitely, especially a place like here. Although I've never grown it outdoors here, it would be very prone to mold. Very prone to mold. So that would be a blessing for you guys. But here for vegetable gardening and stuff, not so much. However, well, let me get to a couple questions first. Yes, Shawnee says, I started a new plot for next year that's full sun for warm loving crops. I have cover cropped it with crimson clover, buckwheat, and oats. Yes, crimson clover is my favorite cover crop. Just because, well, one, I like to say the name. I like to say it over and over. And also, I like, it's such a beautiful plant. I mean, beautiful plant. It could be an ornamental plant in itself. Yes, I like crimson clover. But we just redid the potato patch at the Viking North Garden, which we got some amazing potatoes. I'll show you guys here in a minute. But read mom computer comments. What do you mean? We redid the potato plot. So we harvested the potatoes, got all kinds of wonderful, delicious potatoes at the Viking North plot, which I'll show you in a moment. And then because we have a tiller now, yes, I went ahead and tilled up that spot and then added some azomite for those good minerals. And then we spread one bed has crimson clover, one bed has mammoth red clover. Now, crimson clover is good down to about -10 degrees Fahrenheit. Much below that, and it starts to die. Now, it's been a long time since I can remember that we've had that kind of cold. Although we can get that, definitely. We can get -20 actual temperature, not the wind chill. So one mammoth red clover can take that. It can take -20. So mammoth red clover in one bed, crimson clover in the other bed. Now we are going to green manure this crop. So in the late spring, early summer, probably in May sometime, we're going to till that back in. I'm going to cut it down first, then we're going to till all that back in. And so okay, yeah. So we're going to till all that back in, and that's going to be everything that the plants need, because for potatoes, it's a crop you don't want to spend a lot in fertilizers, so it's like the Viking granular wood is wonderful for that, but you need to grow if you got a big space, it's kind of cost ineffective to grow potatoes that way, although you perfectly can if you want nutrient dense potatoes, if you got a bed or two. But we're trying to grow like a lot of potatoes, and so the green manure is the way to go. You spend the money on the seed, and then you let it grow, and then you till all that back in, and then we're going to plant right away, pretty much, and then cover with straw. Whoops. Cover with straw. And that is going to provide mostly everything that they need, definitely. So Lisa T says, just went to Urban Farmer north of Indy and got crimson clover, buckwheat, and daikon for cover cropping. Yes, Urban Farmer is a great place. I would love to go to if they have a store, that would be great. Mom Computer says, exciting news for the tribe. I've found Nate's beloved Austrian crescent potatoes for us all. Organic, of course. Andrew has assured me they can supply as much as our tribe wants. Whether you order, I don't know. Maybe she meant now or in the spring. Let's see. But that's really good, because the Austrian crescent is pretty much my favorite. Now, that being said, I didn't at that time. I hadn't tried the other fingerlings. We also have the French fingerling, the banana fingerling, and the Viking blue or Viking purple. So still, though, I'm going to say the Austrian crescent. I mean, the fingerling potatoes in general are just so much more dense and gourmet tasting and feeling. Now, I don't have a lot of experience growing fingerling potatoes, so this year is going to be a real eye-opener in many ways. But what I do want to show you here is check this out. So I got these bags now, and I'm really liking this method. Oh man, got these. I think I put them in the Amazon storefront. They're like they're less than $1 a piece, I think, for these bags. They're onion bags. They're real strong, and they let the air flow. And so we dug up the Yukon Golds, And of course, we don't clean them. We just let them dry. But with these bags, you don't have to let them dry and then put them in your storage container. So this is my first year with these, but I think that it's a good system. So I'm literally just going to hang these in the basement. I'm hanging these bags in the basement in the dark like that. And to me, that seems like the way to go. I mean, the lighting's real low in the basement. And so this should provide airflow all the way around them. And this should provide everything that they need to store for a long time. So that would be great, huh? Let's see here. Yes, Lisa T says, I will post info and hopefully my photos for Urban Farmer on Discord. It's a cool place. Yeah, I recommend their seeds definitely all the time. But let me just show you this here. Okay. Now, these are some. Now, we had a taste test, okay? We did the banana fingerling, the French fingerling, and the Viking purple. We just boiled them and then took them out and then put them each in separate containers and mashed them with butter, Kerrygold butter, and coarse sea salt. That was it. Just lightly mashed them. And we tried them each that way. All right. Now, the thing is, there was so then we all came up with our top three, or we all came up with the order in which we like them. And the funny thing is that all three of us had different ordering for everything. So it's totally subjective. So you guys might not find the Austrian Crescent to be that good, because the one that I said was the best, one of the other person said was the worst, and the other person said was the middle, you know? So it's really, really subjective. But this one is pretty good. In my opinion, though, it is just kind of like, these just kind of taste like regular potatoes. You know, these are purple. So we each got one bag. You know, me and my uncle split the harvest, of course, and we each got one bag. So these are really bright purple. When you mash them up, they're real beautiful. So they would be good for like the visual appeal. They would be good. But to my taste, at least, they taste like normal potatoes. Now, one of the people said this was their favorite, or at least tied for the favorite. Yeah. So Lisa T says, how well do the Austrian Crescent store? Has anyone had a few years experience? Yeah, not me. So I don't know. Supposedly, though, based on the research, they are the best storing of the fingerling type potatoes. So we'll see. Once I notice them getting soft, we're going to go in overdrive eating them and stuff. But these purple potatoes, pretty good. I mean, I think they're more a novelty, sort of a novelty, but also, you know, there's not that many things that are like purplish blue. So to get that micronutrients, phytochemicals, the phytonutrients, to get that into the diet, I will be growing these again, just because I feel like it's worth its weight to have that coloring in your winter food diet. Yeah. So Sam, what do you think about that? Says, I've got some mini purple Dutch style potatoes. So what do you think about that? Let's see. Mom Computer says, Andrew says they store very well. You can order next spring and they will store them for you until then. Okay, wonderful. So I assume that Andrew is the person selling these, the Austrian Crescent Potato Walla. So yes, Sam, the isocyanates. Yes, those. Essentially, that's what makes them the purple. So even though they're not, I mean, they're still better than any store-bought potato. Definitely. They're better than any store-bought potato. But of the gourmet ones, my palate, they were the least liked, but they're still good. So definitely include them. I think a purple potato is great for the wintertime to get those isocyanates in there with your diet, okay? Now, my favorite, though, let me see if I even grabbed the right bag. Okay. Yes, my favorite, though, was the French fingerling. So there was banana fingerling, which are all white, which I have a bag of those downstairs as well. But these, oopsie, a mouse had eaten some of them. So that's the number one drawback that we found to the Ruth Stout, was that the the potatoes that were sort of dug in, buried into the ground a little bit, the mice didn't mess with them. It was mice, not voles, because there was no tunnels underneath. But the ones that were sitting in between the mulch, the straw, and the soil, the mice really got to them. You know, so that's I'm going to set that one aside and eat it. So I'll cut that part off. But that's the one drawback. So we got to figure out some methods to cure that. Now there are cats on the property, but they're not really hunting. You know, so that's unfortunate. But we got to figure out with something else, some other way, you know, to cure that, because in one of the plots, they really damaged probably half of the potatoes, and that's unacceptable. So, okay, let's see. Meyer Lemon says, Nate, agreed. We taste tested and decided the Adirondack purples were beautiful and nutrient dense, but we'll use for added visuals in dishes. Yes, but a little bit bland by comparison. Okay, yes. So that's definitely beautiful, nutrient dense, and for sure you want those colors in the winter time, because the winter time is when we're not having fresh leafy greens and stuff so much, except microgreens and sprouts, but we are eating the storage crops. So to get that purple in the diet, very good. All right. But the French fingerling, very delicious. Very delicious. Now, I have not tried these prepared in the same way that we did the Austrian crescent. So the Austrian crescent we made in a way that I call smashed potatoes, which are my favorite way to make potatoes. So you take the potato, you boil it, and I'll make a video about this someday, but you take the potato, this is just for the VIP people. You take the potato, all right, and you boil it just until it's soft enough to pierce with a fork, all right? Not until the skin starts to peel off, just until you can like pierce it with a fork. Then you take it out and you put like a towel over it and smash it down, all right, with your hand. Kind of smash it down like that so that it's thin. And then you take a hot griddle or a hot skillet. I use like the Camp Chef, you know, the griddle. And then you put some lard on it or some tallow, all right? Some lard or tallow is best. Not butter. Butter will burn because you need that heat cranking high. You need that high heat. It needs to be smoking and stuff. Put that lard on there. Immediately put that smashed potato on there. Just let that go for about 2 minutes. That's it. Just until it's got to be high enough heat where it's going to caramelize those sugars in there. And then gently flip it over, dab a little more lard on top, and let it sizzle in there. And then shred the cheese over it real fast, and then take it off like that, along with some of those burnt cheese from the griddle. Take all that stuff off and put it in there on top of the potato, and then put a little slab of butter upon each potato. And those are smashed potatoes. Unbelievably good. And at that time as well, when you put that butter on, sprinkle some coarse rock salt on top of all of them. And that is delicious. So that's how we prepared the Austrian crescent. You know, so it might be a different experience when we eat them just smashed, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm very well versed in potatoes, and so that Austrian crescent was just in a league all its own. Okay, but I tell you what, though, these French fingerlings are a close second, and any of the fingerlings have got that nice dense texture. It's really going to be delicious. So I'm looking forward to it. So we've got about 6 of these bags packed to the hilt so far. I'd say, you know, that's 15 pounds here, I would say at least. And we've got at least 6 of them pretty much. And we've still got 2 garden beds outside that we got to harvest, even though they're like dehydrated basically. So, and the, yes. Ooh, yeah, Brian Heiss. Now you're speaking my language. Blackstone Griddle, smash burgers with smashed potatoes. That's right, my friend. I love the griddle. Now, the one I have now is portable. It's a Camp Chef, so it's very portable. In fact, this evening, we're going to put it into the truck, take it to my brother's for his birthday. I'm going to make smashed potatoes for everybody. I'm also going to make the grilled collard greens just a little bit. We're also making filet mignon and stuff like that. I'm making all of it. But the collard greens, guys, listen, here's how you do collard greens on a griddle. You'll thank me later. All right. Take the, you can also do cabbage leaves, the fan leaves of the cabbage the same way. Listen, you will take a pot of boiling water, okay? Vigorously boiling water. heavily salt the pot. Then take your collard greens or your cabbage outer leaves like that, or your yod fa if you're growing that. Submerge, so you pick the whole leaf, submerge the whole thing into that boiling water so that it is really boiling vigorously. Now you want to boil it a solid 10 minutes, okay? You want to boil it until it's nice. I mean, collard greens are tough and meaty, so you really want to boil those things until they become soft. So I'm going to say 10 minutes, okay? At least, maybe maximum 15. Then you will take them out of there, all right? Let them sit and cool and stuff. Then once everything is prepared and you're ready, go time, and it's almost time to eat, then you will take the blazing hot griddle, high heat, all right? Put some lard down and take those collard greens and slap them on the griddle. They're gonna be sprinkling and cracking and all that stuff. Just about 30 seconds on each side till you see them blister, okay? That's what we got to do. Just until you see them blister like that, all right? And once they're nice and blistered, about just 2 or 3 minutes like that, a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of red wine vinegar. Sprinkle that on there. Kind of use the collard green as like a whisk to rub the griddle, and it gets all that flavoring in there. Oh man, just like another minute. So the whole process, once you put them on the griddle, only takes about 3 minutes, and you take them off. They are phenomenal, guys. Those are phenomenal. Okay, so you're gonna love that. Yeah, Mom Computer, I don't know what you're talking about the link, so I don't have it set. So I've never seen that. I have never seen that option anywhere. So if there is, somebody direct me towards it, but I've never seen that option. So I don't know. I don't want to start pressing stuff right now because that could take me out of the thing. Guitar Littlefield says, hey, Nate, new viewer here, still devouring your videos. Yes, my friend, that's what it's all about. Get caught up so that you got a good idea of what is going on. Let's see here. Mississippi Soldier 369 says, will my potatoes make it till next spring? Starting to eye. They're starting to chit now. So if you want potatoes to make it until the following year, then you must you must harvest them as late as possible. That's the key. That's really the key, is to leave them in the ground as late as possible and to actually plant them as late. You'll get to know, but everybody wants to plant their potatoes first thing in the spring. Okay. Then you harvest them in late July. Now you've got August, September, October, that they have to store before the winter even gets here. Okay. So the best thing to do if you want them to store, like the storage potatoes we just harvested. Okay. Now we could have waited another couple of weeks, actually, just left them in the ground, but we wanted to get them out of the ground because we knew that this was happening. We knew that the mice or whatever were going to start eating them. That's the one drawback. Okay. So you let them go as long as possible within reason, check them, make sure they're not getting devoured by animals. Then you harvest them and immediately put them in a place where they can be nice and airy. Okay. They need to have airflow like this mesh bag. Then they need to be in the dark. The number one thing is the dark. Any kind of light is not going to be good for the potatoes. All right. It's going to induce them to break dormancy. So essentially you have to mimic the conditions that the potato would find underground. Cool, sort of humid, and dark, totally pitch black dark. Okay. And like that, they will store as long as possible. Yes. If they were grown right, they got to be grown right as well. I mean, they got to be rock hard like these. So it's really important. Okay. Now, let's see here. And so yes, they will last as long as possible that way. All right. But you just want to make sure. So remember, someone said, is the rain bad for potatoes left in the ground? No, it's not bad, because the clock does not start ticking on potatoes until you pull it up, because the Potato somehow knows, based upon a million factors, when to break dormancy. And so long as it's in the ground with its roots still attached, and it just knows. So long as it's not disturbed, then it's good to go, because the potato is a storehouse of solar energy. It is designed to capture the sunlight and combine all the elements and store basically energy, solar energy, so that next year, because the plant's going to die back, but then next year it will get the signals based upon temperature, humidity, even barometric pressure, even gravitational pull, all that stuff. And it will say, okay, now's the time. Boom. And it will use that solar energy to put out sprouts and create a new plant and then produce more tubers. So what we need to do is we need to mimic the conditions as closely as possible to what it would find underground. And that is going to give us the maximum time. So some varieties store better than others, but typically the best of all is the German butterball. The German butterball is actually my favorite potato. I mean, the Austrian crescent, we'll see. We've only had it for one meal the other day, so we got to have it several other meals. But man, so the German butterball though and it stores all winter, no problem. So that you got to grow the right varieties as well. Although that being said, I've had red potatoes store all winter as well. So you just got to get them in that root cellar like conditions. Okay. So now Megan McGuire says, will the potatoes overwinter for the following year if left in the ground? So long as you live in a place that does not, let me see, mom computer's blowing me up. Let me see. Okay, so well, here's this. So it's there is the thing, the link. Now I'm not exactly sure how to do that at this moment. So without like leaving the chat and all that stuff, but we will make it happen in the future. Definitely. If it's not, I don't know if I can put it in the link. I'll put it in the show notes. Right after this is done, I will put it into the description. So you guys can all find the exact link. Looks like sproutmountainfarms.com is what that looks like. So thank you very much for that, Mom Computer. We will definitely be hitting that up. But you can't pre-order now, can you? So Megan says, will the potatoes overwinter for the following year if left in the ground? So long as you live in an area where the ground does not freeze completely. The potato, if it freezes, it turns to mush. That's it. It dies. So it cannot freeze. So, but it likes as close to freezing as possible. In the 30s, it loves it. 35, 38, that will keep it rock solid. Like a 40 degrees and humid is the ideal place for a potato. It will store all winter like that. When they harvest them commercially, they keep it at like 38 degrees and really humid. And you're eating last year's potato crop. When most of the potatoes come to market, it's the previous seasons already. But they store it like that. And so, yes, they will overwinter. But if you live in a place like northern Indiana where it freezes several feet deep into the earth, no, that's not going to work. I've tried. I mean, sometimes they will, depending on their positioning. Sometimes you'll forget, and you'll get volunteer potatoes. Yes, sometimes that does happen, but you can't count on that because it's kind of random. And even you could cover it in 3 feet of straw. That might help a bit. You can try it. Yes, but you'd be better off to dig them up and to bury a cooler of some, or bury a trash can of some kind. You'd be better off doing it that way. So, dig them all up and then create a miniature root cellar with like a metal trash can and bury it into the ground so that you can, put a couple tiny holes in it, of course, and then so that you can layer like straw and then the potatoes, straw and then some carrots, straw and then the potatoes, like that. And you put the lid on and then put a board back over it. That has worked. I have seen this working. I've not done that here, but I've seen this working. So Teach Treats says, why did we start early? Yeah, so I didn't even say it. Today is you guys know that I get my milk products from the Amish and the raw dairy, raw cream. I don't buy it from them, but they look after my portion of the herd. You understand? And they just give me the milk for a small fee for boarding my herd. Yes, my portion of the herd. That's how we're doing it. So today they offer a tour of their farm. Now they offered one last year at on the same time, but I was unable to make it because I didn't want to disrupt the live stream. That's how dedicated I am. So I was like, well, I can't go because it's right at 1 o'clock. Starts at, and it's an hour to get there. So what I did, I said, we can't miss it again. So we're just starting early, and it's going to be a little bit shorter, but hey, it is what it is, because we got to see that. We want to see their operation. They're opening up their farm and their home to me. So that's going to be great. So that's why we did it. That's why we're starting early. Drew Black says, Nate, do we want to wash the potatoes before storage? No. If you want maximum storage life, do not wash those potatoes, because they use all kinds of, now there's several theories as to why, but here my theory is that the potato has a vast level of what we would call intelligence, what I call intelligence. It has a vast degree of this. It can sense every little nuanced condition in the environment. It's essentially just sitting here, an exposed nerve or an exposed receiver of input information. So it's constantly receiving the temperature, it's receiving the light, it's receiving the amount of moisture, it's receiving all this stuff, and it knows just the right time to say, okay, now's the time. Start sprouting, start growing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's alive. It's totally alive and intelligent in that way. It can't do complex mathematical equations or anything, but it's a level of intelligence for sure. So it is my opinion and experience that if you wash them, they break dormancy much earlier. And I believe this is because they also use the relationship with the microorganisms on the soil surface to understand that they're still underground, to understand that they are still in dormancy. When you wash them, they're like, whoa, wait a second. We're not underground anymore. We need to grow to give the best chance to get more. So that's what I firmly believe, that's what does it. So, but reasoning beside, the fact is that they store much better unwashed. So, yes. Ooh, yeah. Bushcraft Baron says, I have about 150 to 200 pounds of German Butterball, Kennebec, and Norland combined, waiting until first frost, which should be about a week and a half. First year growing Kennebec. Kennebecs are great potatoes. It's like one of the most commonly grown potato that there is. So it's really good, but I'm just all about the yellow potatoes. And so even these, the French fingerlings, they have a reddish skin, but they're a yellow potato. Inside is dark yellow and very dense and flavorful. The thing that I'm loving about these fingerling potatoes is that they have almost no skin to them. You don't peel them. You just boil them whole, you mash them whole, you do whatever you want. And there's not that thick, tough, fibrous skin that like a russet potato would have. So they're real thin skin, which is delicious. Mm-hmm. Oh, guys, why didn't you tell me I wasn't putting the banners up? Okay. Let's also run. There we go. So yeah, guys, we have some orders of the Valhalla onions still available. If you have paid for yours, do not worry. You will get them, absolutely guaranteed. But you have to remember, we're not like an Amazon company that, as soon as you order, we don't give you a confirmation email and then, hey, we just want to let you know your order's been received. Hey, we just want to let you know your order's been shipped. Hey, we just want to let you know we're thinking about you. Like you get so many emails when you order stuff online now, and confirmation here to there, and it's there by the next day. This is an old school operation. So this is basically a virtual handshake. You give me the payment, we will give you the onions. And we will make it right no matter what. But so far, every single order has been fulfilled that we've shipped so far. Now, we still have many of them left to do, but everything's going smoothly. So, guys, there's no need to be blowing me up about, hey, it's been 2 weeks. Where's my onions? So I get it that you're excited. I get that totally. And I'm part of the Amazon crowd as well. I'm used to like the next day by 8 a.m. things are here, which is great, but that's not how we do these. Okay. This is just a couple of Vikings growing these on the land and shipping them to you in the mail. Okay. So, it's more organic than that. All right. We're not like a big company with thousands of employees and all of that kind of stuff. So, and yes, Maniac says, got the Valhalla onions and a sticker. Yes, guys, those of you that are getting this type of sticker, you are going to be the first gen. These are going to be the original rookie cards, because I'm since have changed the design to a white bubble around the YouTube, because you can't really see that from a distance. You can't see YouTube, which we need to see. I mean, we could see Instagram because there's 130,000 Instagram followers as well, and Facebook, which we'll do more of next year, but I don't want to muddy it up. It's like YouTube's enough. So yeah. And several of you guys have sent pictures already of displaying it. One person on their mailbox, one person on their car, one person at the front of their garden. So really good. Happy about that. Thank you guys. We will be having a contest, several contests, not contests, but like giveaways of some kind this spring. We'll be giving away buckets of fertilizer, and it'll have something to do with where you put the sticker. Okay. So what do you think? I might make them bigger for the cars as well. We might make them a little bit bigger. Yeah. Man, one thing that is difficult about this new format from my standpoint is that it doesn't keep up. It doesn't scroll with the comments, which might be good, but I have to physically move the comments, and it says, hey, there's 14 new comments down there. Oh, what? So it's, so we'll see. Yes, Mom Computer came through with the Austrian Crescent place. So definitely look that up. Hit that up. Meyer Lemon says 3 foot tall raised bed under tons of straw. The red potatoes come up in the spring. Yes, nice. If that works for you, you can do it. Definitely. But the other tricky thing is you have to keep them free of pests for that entire time. So yeah, if you've got voles, good luck. Guitar Littlefield says, Nate, I just dug a breakfast portion of sweet potatoes up and grated them, tossed with salt, garlic powder, and onion powder, cooked in coconut oil. Yes, that is sounding delicious. Definitely. Alex Coonan, I was thinking about burying an old chest freezer for a small root cellar. That works, definitely. Yes, that works. Rick says that's fine. Would be nice if you can film a little. Yes, of the farm tour that we do. Yes, that would be good. Big Will Dog says, Nate, what's the storage on russet potatoes? I have late season russets in contractor bags. Those will store pretty well. So we've got several weeks till you got to worry about frost. So probably another month, before you actually really need to harvest those. Now, that being said, if the plant dies back on the contractor bags, if the plant dies back, you don't want to just let them sit in those contractor bags because they will roast. They can actually cook. And once the plant is not living anymore and the plant's not like shading out the bag, you kind of need to harvest them in contractor bags. But so russets will store long. All the potatoes will store quite some time, so long as you do those conditions. Even the German butterball, if you just take it and wash it and put it on your counter, it's only going to store a month. Or put them in your refrigerator or in your closet or something. It's only going to store a month or two. Maybe longer. But if you store them right, they'll store like 8 months, no problem. Mississippi Soldier says, do you still get a soil test? No, we don't do soil testing here because it's not necessary. It's not necessary because the standard soil test doesn't give me the information that I really need. I used to test the soil all the time when I was in Northern California, but I come to find that doesn't actually tell me what is a plant available and what it just doesn't correlate. Soil testing originated more so, and there will be so many people want to try and debate about that, and that's fine. You've got your opinion about it, but this is my experience, is that soil testing was developed much more for a time for industrial ag farming, for chemical farming. where you got to get a soil test, and then you got to immediately start adjusting the pH of the soil. You got to add lime, or you got to add gypsum, or you got to add this and add that, hydrated lime. And then you got to look at your N, P, and Ks. And then you got to, if you're low on P, you got to add a potassium or a nitrate and all these kind of things. That's not how we farm with natural farming. So natural farming is going to be totally different. So we don't really need a soil test. What we need to do is make sure that, above all, what we need to do is grow microbes. And the way that we do that is, yes, at using microbial solutions and all of that, aerated compost teas, but before any of that, we have to create the right atmosphere that the microbes can multiply. That's the most important thing of all, is that we have to create the right conditions for the microbes to multiply, meaning that we have to have organic matter, good organic matter in the soil. We have to have aeration in the soil. It can't be stagnant anaerobic soil. We have to have good drainage in the soil. We have to have good earthworm activity. We have to have good activity of other things. We have to have thriving soil food web. And then we're adding things like the aerated teas and the fertilizers and stuff, and that all really helps. But most important of all is creating the environment where microbes can thrive. So focus on that. And when we do that, the plant will adjust the pH that it needs in the area directly around the roots, called the rhizosphere. The plant knows how to do that. So it doesn't matter so when people are testing their soil, it doesn't really matter what the soil test is 10 feet away from the target plant, or even 5 inches from the target plant. It matters where that root or the fungi and stuff is in contact with that soil. And so the plant knows how to manipulate that. It's amazing. The plant knows how to manipulate that, and it will it will use the power of the sun to combine the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide, and the minerals from the earth, create the sugars, pump it into the earth that it knows will attract the right microorganisms that will create the exact pH that it needs. That's how unbelievable the intelligence is. It's astonishingly intelligent. And so the plant can take care of all of that. So we don't actually have to adjust soil pH. We don't have to even bother with a soil test. I'm not going to be testing the soil. When I redo the whole garden, so many people's like, oh, you got to get a soil test. Send it off to your local extension office. Guys, most university extension offices are just an extension of industrial ag complex. Okay, it's like going to a registered dietitian or your doctor for actual real nutritional advice on how to thrive. They know what they've been taught, and what they've been taught is what has been fed to them. For the most part. Of course, there's exceptions to all of this, but I'm just talking greatly in general. All right. So it's you go to your county extension office, and they're going to tell you what the industrial ag complex has taught them. Okay. And so that's not helpful for us. All right. So we use these old ways, and we use intuitive gardening. We use our understanding of the land, and we listen to our heart, and we listen to the energy, and it tells us exactly what to do. And so that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So Teats Treats, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says your videos, live chat, and consultation changed my garden production and my thought process. Starting to check out the Thrive stuff. Nice. He's talking about the Thrive Like a Viking lives that we do every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We just talked about a great thing on the last Thrive, which was all the different practices that will help us to thrive. Yes, I introduced some people to the Pomodoro work technique. Yes, look that up. It's very efficient, a wonderful way to get a lot done. So those kind of things. So Mom Computer says, get out of the matrix, folks. The earth and its soil does not depend on big ag suggestions. That's exactly right, guys. So that is why we don't need to get a soil test. We don't need to do any of that. Now, the flip side of that is that we have to make sure that we're farming microbes. Okay, get the mind right, and get the understanding that it's not even the plant, that we're not like taking care of the plants. We are primarily farming microbes. Everything else is an expression of that happening. Yes. So you can, once you're trained, once you've become trained, everything you need to know can be told about the soil can be told to you by reading the plant. You can read the plant and its subtleties and the feeling and the smell and the earth, all that stuff combined. You can read it and it will tell you exactly what the condition of the soil is. Yes. So it's amazing. Exactly. VA Green says the plant is the soil tester. Yes. So let's see here. Let me switch up that banner here. So the guys, the we are going to be doing memberships. Yeah, obviously. So we're going to be doing memberships now. So tomorrow I'm going to make them available. Everyone that is watching this, sign up for the memberships if you would. This will help the channel grow. I'm just going to set it at $2 a month. That's it. Just so we can get as many members as we can get. That's what we want. So we're just going to set at $2 a month. And now there might be like a baller tier of like $25 a month where we'll do our own monthly live stream, which will basically, there won't be that many people in that one. So it'll be almost like a consultation every month, so we'll see if we do that. But the primary thing, I'm not going to take away anything from the rest of the people. I would just give extra things to the members. So the main thing is please just sign up for the membership because YouTube is really promoting this. So to grow the tribe, we need members. So I'm just going to set it at $2. So hopefully you can contribute that way. But also, like Paul Kipta said, and some other people said, memberships are great, but I would like to continue contributing via PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. That's better because we 100% goes here instead of there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good way to do it. But be a member anyways, okay? I really appreciate that. So Lisa T, okay, got you. Valhalla onions, yes. Sorry. No. Do you have an extra Italian Hill garlic bulb you might sell? Sorry, we have to plant. We only got a handful. We have to plant every one. Sorry. Next year, maybe. But we've only got a handful of them, and so we might plant them. We might actually eat them. Well, we just have to see. But we only ended up getting a handful, so we'll see. But no, I can't. Sorry. So Nicolas Dubois says, the channel grows very well, Viking. I'm so glad for you. I discovered your channel last year, and this summer I made my first garden ever. It just exploded, and now I'm happier than ever. Nice. That's what we like to hear. That's exactly what we like to hear. Kim Williams, the details about the membership is I'm going to set up the memberships at $2, and it's just so that you can be a part of you get badges and stuff like that. I'm still not entirely clear on what it's for, but I'm not going to do like different tiers and offer different things and stuff. I just ask that everyone that can just be a member. Okay. And then if you want to contribute more than that, absolutely do it. We welcome that, but if not a problem. Ooh. MC Hammer. Yes, that guy, Chris. The $100 membership, get us a Viking gold chain that's bigger than MC Hammer. Ooh, yeah. Mom Computer says, was also looking for the Italy Hill garlic for the tribe, but couldn't find enough. Yeah, it's tough to find, definitely. So, but there's we've got several different kinds, and there's others that are somewhat comparable. So we'll see. I might do like a garden tasting test, a garden test, garlic tasting test. So because the Leningrad is also extremely good, and it's also really big, and it also peels really well, and that's what I like. I don't like having a bunch of tiny little cloves in there that you got to sit there and peel, and they're all sticky to your fingers and stuff. Look, guys, so many people have planted their onions already, and they're already growing. I mean, no matter what, if you guys are, especially if you're anywhere south of the the Dixon line, then you can plant them really at any time during the year, and they are going to grow. All right. I mean, look, I just set them here like 2 weeks ago, and they have just been inside in the dark, and they're like already growing. So here's another couple of things, guys. Check it out. So we are doing mushrooms this year. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Firth Girl says, Nate, I have raised beds that only gets about 3 hours of sun. It's shaded the rest of the day. What are some fall veggies that would grow good in it? It's ready to be planted now. Arugula. I would plant arugula for arugula salads. Delicious. Arugula also, at this point, you don't want to plant something that you have to wait till it matures. You just leafy greens. Shijimisa, komatsuna, any of the mustard greens. Definitely radishes can take that. But the best thing would be the arugula, in my opinion, definitely. Look to Nature says, you could do name drawings for giveaways. Yes, I got to figure out how exactly to do it, but you also, you want to use them in a certain way. So we'll see. Yes. Okay. Lisa T said, I will look for the Leningrad. I would suggest the Leningrad because the Italy Hill is not really possible to find. I don't know how I got it. I don't know how I got it, but the Leningrad is going to be much easier to find and pretty good. So and another one of my favorite garlics is just what I'm calling Bates garlic. Yes, Jerry. Guys, if you guys are in the Indianapolis area or within like a 3 or 4 hour drive and you want some really good, consciously raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, 100% pastured beef, hit up my friend Jerry, who I made the video with, and he's part of the tribe. He's part of the Thrive tribe. You guys know him. And so you can contact him at batesfamilyfarm@yahoo. I do believe that is the email address. It's well worth the drive. Okay, if you're within a 3 or 4 hour drive, it's well worth it to get on the list and get the stuff happening. Okay, yes, batesfamilyfarm@yahoo.com. So just say, hey, we're in wherever, and we want to get on the list for some of that good beef. So so Mom Computer, the Leningrad, that is a very good one. Leningrad would also be very comparable. Now, Seth Allen, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, can I mix amino acid fertilizer with urine? Was thinking 4 gallons water, 2 tablespoons amino. You mean the fish aminos, right? And 2 to 4 cups of urine. What are your thoughts? Fresh urine or fermented? If it's fresh, yes, that would be fine. I would apply that to the soil. Yes, I would apply that to the soil. I actually don't apply the urine to the leaves anymore. I don't do that anymore. So I would apply that, yes, to the soil, Seth. Thank you very much for the support. So let's see here. Brian Aries says, Nate, I'm having phone problems. Can you see I sent you a PayPal earlier? And if I have to send it again, you don't have to read it. Just wanted to make sure you got it. Sorry. Thanks. Hey, no problem. Let me see. Maybe I missed something here, but I did miss it. $5. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. Yes. It says, loving the potato talk today. Thanks as always, my Viking friend. Yes. Thank you as well, Brian, for your consistent support. And financially and energetically, definitely. So, so guys, let me. So, Mom Computer says, Nate, does Jerry ship the beef? I doubt it. I'm gonna really doubt that because that would be a whole nother thing that would have to undertake. Okay. So yes, that'd be a whole different thing. So the mushrooms, guys. So we are growing because I have to grow them earlier so that I can make the videos for you guys. But this I've come up, well, I didn't come up with it, but I've discovered a way that is way easier than pasteurizing them on the stove and stuff. Guys, this is so easy and it's foolproof. It's virtually foolproof. So we just got these buckets in this straw, and look, let me see. And these are pink oysters. So I'm going to, once these colonize, I'm just going to set these things outside in a shady area, and with some straw on the ground that I will water the straw, you know, and so that it will become humid up top. So, but look, let's see. I just did these on the 10th. Okay. So let's see if, what there is. Ooh, yeah. Okay, look. See, it's already starting to colonize. Pretty soon, this entire thing is going to be fluffy white mold. What's a thumbs down for? That's weird. Pretty soon, this entire thing is going to be fluffy white mold. Yes. And that is, oh, maybe that means someone just gave a thumbs down. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys. Because it's still engagement, so I don't care. But yes, this stuff is nice and fluffy. It's colonizing real good. So these are going to start to fruit here before long out of these holes. We're going to get tons of them. So easy. And yes, believe it or not, guys, I get the most thumbs down. I get at least like 10 or 15 thumbs down on each live stream. And I lose subscribers. On each live stream, I lose like between 5 and 15 subscribers. I don't understand. You know, like some videos, like the Jadam fish video, I gained like 60,000 subscribers from that one video, you know. But then every live stream, I lose a subscriber. It's unreal. But that's how we weed out the riffraff. We don't care about them people. So go somewhere else. Go to your TikTok. You know, most people are like, it's too long. There's too long form. I can't sit still for that long. Well, then just go back to your TikTok videos with your fractured little attention span and be happy with that, okay? But this is for people that want to dive deeper into and really examine things and get real knowledge, okay? Instead of just like boom, 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 boom. So guys, here's another one, okay? These are yellow oysters, all right? And let's see here. Look, yep, see, they're doing it too. Yellow oysters are a little bit slower to colonize because they're in the basement at a lower temperature. But these are gonna pretty soon. Wait, I'll show you next week. They will be covered in mycelium. Ooh, yeah, guys, look at that. I mean, those nice fluffy white things. That is mycelium. And once you're done with these, you can plot them. You can bury them in the woods. You can bury them like in a shady area, and they will fruit again if you do it right. So let's see here. Gary Smith, thank you for your consistent contribution, my friend. So $25 via PayPal says, the city needs to take down my maples in front yard for a storm drainage line as it floods. You were saying maple limbs for mushrooms. Please explain more as they are taking out trees in the next 2 weeks. Yes, that is a golden opportunity for you. Okay, so before long, we are going to be... sorry, let's take this away. Whoops. So before long, we are going to be inoculating logs with mushrooms. Okay, so maple is the best for the combination of mushrooms we want to grow. So maple can grow oysters, lion's mane, and shiitake mushrooms perfectly good. All right, so you want them to be between like 3 and 8 inches. Even 10 inches is good, so long as you can still move the logs. But you want them to be pretty much fresh cut. All right, so we want to cut them, and within 2 weeks, we need them to be to inoculate them. So we want them to be between, you know, they can be anywhere from just a couple inches to like 8 or 10 inches in diameter, so long as you can move them. 3 to 5 feet long, whatever. That doesn't matter so much. What matters is that we will cut them, and then we don't want them to, they have to be alive. They have to be totally alive. All right. Now, we're going to cut them, and then we are going to drill holes into them at certain distances. Then we're going to pack them with the mushroom mycelium, the spawn, and then we're going to seal them with wax. And some we might even use the plugs because it'll be really convenient. All right. And then that's it. We let that colonize. Now, that's going to take it can take a full year for them to colonize. if it's outside and it freezes over the winter. If you bring them in or bring them in an area where they're not going to freeze, you'll have probably pretty much have onions by next season, or mushrooms. But once that log is colonized, you will have them for several years. And they say typically it is 1 year for every inch of log diameter that they will fruit. So you want to use the maple, get some lion's mane, use the links in the description, use the code Viking, whatever, because we get a little kickback and you get 10% off from the North Spore. That's where all my mushroom stuff is from. And get the spawn from them. Okay. It will last several weeks to a couple of months in the refrigerator. It will last like 3 months in the refrigerator. So just order it. You can order the spawn or the plugs if you're going to inoculate the logs. Lion's mane, shiitake, and oysters. All right. But definitely the lion's mane and shiitake, because oysters we can grow indoors on buckets. They're so easy. But the lion's mane are kind of tough, and the shiitakes can't be grown indoors in buckets. So you want to inoculate with those and then set them in like a log cabin pattern. And so once you do that, man, and they colonize, you're going to be having mushrooms for years about it. Okay. So it's going to be fantastic. We're going to be making a video on that here in just a few weeks when I go down to see Jerry again, the beef guy. He is spotting out because he's got, a lot of land, a lot of trees. So he's spotting out the maples that we're going to use. So we're going to cut them and inoculate them right at the right time. All right. So the absolute best time to take the tree, the maple, is when 1/3 of its leaves have changed. That's the best time. All right. So VA Green says, how close to harvest can you keep using compost tea? Of course, it's organic. I assume you mean your plants. Yeah, not tomatoes. Because if it's just garden veggies, you use it as long as you want. As long as you want the plants to keep growing, is no problem. VA Green, those plants though, that the flavor and the taste and all that kind of stuff, man, the last several weeks should be just water. That's the best way to do it. If you do your soil right, everything that goes into the soil, the last several weeks can just be water, and that's the best. That really is the best. Gives the best flavor, gives the best everything. That guy Chris says, great tip regarding maple. I will hold off cutting some of mine till I have spores in hand. Yes, get the spores. Make sure you use the links in the description, of course. And that is Meyer Lemons. Yes, even in zone 6 and 7. Yes, we're in zone 5. So yes, that definitely will work. But now, that being said, I am going to try and bring some of them into like an area where they won't freeze. I don't know how I'm going to do that exactly, but we're going to try and do some of that. Because I want to have some, sooner. Yeah. So yes, guys, make sure you do all your shopping on Amazon through the link. Okay. Let me know if this sound was any clearer. I got a whole new cable and I got rid of this connection. So we'll see. I hope there was no clicking sound. We're starting to harvest the butternut squash, guys. These things are so sweet, even sweeter than the Tahitian melon squash. They don't store as long, though. You get about 4 months out of these maximum. But each plant produces like a dozen or 2 dozen of these. So it's pretty good. But so you will, this is what you want to see. When you get your ginger from the Asian store, you want to see it sprouting. Look at that. I mean, this is several weeks old, but it's sprouting and alive. So it's this stuff's really easy to grow from rhizome. So definitely you can use that. Guys, we're approaching the end of this because we got to get rolling. So we are approaching the end of our time together. Teets is planting my onions today. Yes, definitely. I hope we got that issue worked out with the little bit of black mold on the seeds, but that will just let them air dry. Do not put them in the dehydrator. Just let them air dry and everything will be fine. It's not a problem. So Calvin says, okay, so for that, for cannabis, what ratio do you recommend using the calcium from eggshell? And do I need to worry about locking up magnesium and phosphorus? Once we start talking about that plant, it goes way deeper. We have to talk about, okay, what did you put in the soil? What kind of system are you running? There's so much more to know about that plant and the way that it's grown. So that if you really want to know that kind of stuff, that would have to be in a consultation. And I would need lots of information from you as far as what has been given to them, what's their growing environment like, how long have they been in flower, so many variables. So I will need to know so much more than that. So if you really want to know, though, hit me up for a consultation. Okay. So, all right, guys. Well, we got to get rolling. So we got someone that wants to say hi. Because we're about to roll to the. That's right, Miss Catwoman here. Where are we going?
To farm.
That's right. What are we going to do there?
Have a tour.
Yes, she knows what's up. We're going to have a tour of the Amish farm. And then we are going to go to my brother's to celebrate his birthday. We're going to have filet mignon, smashed potatoes. We're going to have those sauteed collard greens. Everything's going to be delicious. So, all right, guys, we will see you next time. And make sure that you hit up the links in the description. Make sure you do all your shopping through Amazon. We will see you guys next Monday, or we will see you guys Monday on the Thrive Tribe, 1030. Oh, look, Lisa, she's adorable. Are you adorable? Yes, she says, of course. I get that all the time.
There's more milkweed ready to throw in the air.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, she said there's more milkweed ready to throw in the air. Guys, we took the milkweeds, took them apart, and I got out the leaf blower, and she was throwing them, and it was like it was snowing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, how far did they go?
They're probably still going, so.
They're probably still going from last week. They're probably still floating. Yeah, that's how far they went. Okay, guys. So, yes, I will post the potato info, and thank you guys so much. Look, Natalie Dumont says she's such a cutie.
Did you see the morning glory on the side of your house?
Yes, I did. She knows that the morning glory is the bane of my gardening existence. She said, did you see the morning glory on the side of the house? Yes, that's because somebody is slacking on their weeding of the morning glories. So we'll have to let that one slide. So, all right, guys, we got to get out of here. Yes. Okay, my friends.
Okay, my friend.
Okay. All right, guys.